from a snowy Tennessee. All right, let's see if we get some screen time here. See who takes the trophy for being first on a 5x5, and we'll go from here. So, there comes my screen. I can see me. And Finley the dog is a 5x5. There's a new name on the winners list. There we go. We're gonna have to figure out something to do for a weekly winner. I'm gonna have to get like a tote board or something like this. So, hello everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope you all had a good day. Hope you had better weather than we did. It was frigid cold here today, and it snowed like a blizzard for 5 minutes, and then it would stop, and then an hour later it'd snow like a blizzard again. It was just crazy. So it was a day to do things inside. So I spent my day up potting peppers and doing that, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going up at my seedlings, and I noticed a couple of you guys were talking about seedlings in here. I got over 300 pepper and tomato plants right now going upstairs. So it's just like, Christ, when planting time comes, I'm going to be hurting bad. Let's put it this way. I spend the day on my knees. No jokes. Okay. So, few things I want to talk about here before we get going here. Anybody see what came out of Germany this afternoon? I swear sometimes I think that politicians watch this channel, all right? Because you had the German defense minister come out about 5 o'clock Eastern this evening and say, to be sure, we can do more for Ukraine. But what I'm suggesting is that Kiev could directly buy equipment if needed from the German manufacturers directly. Because Germany has decided to stop giving Ukraine stuff. Where have I heard that before? Thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see if Potato Joe figures out maybe, hey, this is a good idea. Because, the fun part is, like I said the other day, what do you need 500 stingers and 500 javelins a day for? There aren't that many things to shoot at, okay? So what are we going to do? Arm somebody that could potentially say, "Oh, what? No, it's not going to let us in." Well, no, we'll be your enemy. Great. Not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's a possibility that nobody seems to think about. On the home front, anybody catch what Greg Abbott did down in Texas? Loving this. He is putting the illegals on buses and shipping them to Washington, D.C. First stop, U.S. Capitol. Okay. And of course, DC's going, oh, you can't do that, and everything like that. And Abbott's like, watch me. And so we got a bunch of buses, and guess what he did? He put a bunch of illegals on them. Amazing how all these counties that have been having people dropped off in the middle of the night, all of a sudden aren't getting any middle of the night packages anymore. Gee, I guess you got called on that one there, Joe, because when these buses start showing up going, hi, we're here, can I have the Lincoln bedroom? You better be opening up the White House, Joe. Well, just a thought. One other one, and this one directly affects all of us. You guys remember about 2 months ago, I did a video and I was talking about bird flu hitting the United States, and people were, not many, we probably had some trolls and they're going, oh, this is no big deal, you're making this stuff up, blah 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 blah. No, I wasn't. Okay. Well, latest numbers now. 24 million birds, chickens and or turkeys have now been culled. Nearly half of the states in the union have cases of bird flu, anywhere from corporate farms down to backyard chicken pens or whatever you want to call them. I can't think of the word. So we wonder what's going to happen with chicken. I just want to give you this as an idea. Chicken is still the protein for the majority of the country because it's, for the most part, the cheapest meat you can get. But I want you to think about this. This also goes to eggs. Think of everything that you eat that has eggs in it. Pasta, bread. No eggs, no bread, no pasta, no pies, no cakes, no bakery of any sort, whatever it would be. This is where we are, guys. 24 million birds have been culled as of today. It was 17 million 3 days ago, just to give you an idea how fast this is rolling through. You need to start stocking some of this stuff, okay? Uh, I can still get at the grocery outlet here. We were there 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday, 2 days, Friday. No, Thursday. And it was still 69 cents a pound for a 10-pound bag of leg quarters. Okay. Yeah, now I know a lot of people prefer breasts or something like that, but hey, food is food, protein is protein. Okay. And the advantage of the leg quarters is 20 pounds of chicken breast also made me a pint of bone meal. So, or chicken breast, chicken legs and thighs made me a pint of bone meal as well. So, because we canned up, what, 16 quarts of chicken stew, I think it was, out of it the last time we bought it. So, find stuff that you can when it's on sale and get it. If you see it at a good price, grab it. I said before, y'all know this. If you can buy a freezer, and freezers are back in stock all over the place, it's going to pay for itself so damn fast. Freezer's a couple $100, okay? And, think of if you bought a freezer last year and filled it with meat versus the price of meat now. Freezer's long since paid for itself. I mean, I showed you guys the corned beef price. I don't have to tell you about the beef prices or the pork prices or the chicken prices or any prices for that matter. You all know. Just keep putting stuff away, guys. Can it, freeze it, do whatever you can, because when the bottom drops out, we all know it's going to soon. Okay. You don't want to be one of those people in the melee that is going to be a grocery store. So, well, Robert said Constantine popped in. Oh, there he is. Look at that. 4 hours sleep. Brother, man, I'll give you credit. I mean, I don't know how the hell you do a live stream for a couple hours every day. It's like, wow. But yeah, okay. Glad you could make it this evening. So, all right. So, welcome to everybody. Again, we've got 1,200 people in here, thereabouts at this point. And I want to say thank you to all my moderators again, Lorna and Lucky Dame, Robert, Jacob, and North Shore, all for taking time out of their Saturdays again to be here. Keep all the riffraff out, which is good. So, want to get into what we usually do here. Q&A from you guys. No topics off limits, unless of course it's the YouTube banned stuff, and you guys know what that is by now. So, if you got a question for me, like every other channel on YouTube, please put it in all caps so I can see it. Only thing I ask of you guys, keep it polite, keep it PG-13 in here. Every day I go through, besides the normal trolls, like Lorna caught one again today, and Danny over at Deep South Homestead said the same one was on their channel. He put a video up to say that. If you want to be an ass, go do it somewhere else. I have no patience for it in the chat. I have no patience for it in the comments, and I really don't care. It's like, goodbye. Simple as that. So, okay. All right. So let's get into Q&A. Let me start up at the top. I will get through as many as I can here. So let's see where we are. And oh yeah, okay. I see Redbeards Racing says it brought up something else I forgot. Walgreens is now rationing baby formula at all 9,000 stores. Saw that today. Also saw there's a bunch of stores in Albuquerque that are no longer accepting cash, debit or credit card only, because crime has gone up so bad the stores don't want to keep cash in. Coming to a city near you, guys. This is exactly what's going to happen. Get ready to not be able to use cash soon. So, all right. Scrolling on down. Two Dirty Dogs. What was Mrs. P's career field in Russia? Does she miss it? Mrs. P did a little of everything. She worked as a recruiter. She worked for the railway. She worked for the police department. So it was primarily in desk work, I guess, if you would say. David Galifaro, any idea if we will have rationing here? I don't think it's going to get, now again, this is completely based on the fact that, let's say, World War III doesn't break out. World War III breaks out, yes, we do. Okay. Based on just the world economy collapsing, you'll see rationing, I think, again, personal opinion, like we saw during COVID, limit 5 pounds ground beef or whatever it would be, or, limit 2 on toilet paper, whatever it would be. I don't think we're going to see it as bad as Asian countries or African countries for sure. Even Europe, I think, is going to be in a worse case scenario than we are. Again, remember, we don't get food per se from Ukraine or Russia. All right. I mean, Asia does, Europe does, Africa does. We don't. Just, most of the stuff that we get in the States here, unless, of course, you're talking about imported stuff or whatever. I'm talking about your basic staples. Most of that comes from Central and South America if it's not grown here. So I wouldn't say we'll see rationing based on food shortages. I think, if anything, where we're going to see it is just based on food shortages. That the fact that we can't grow it, Central and South America can't grow it. I think that's what it's going to be, more or less. I don't think it's going to affect us as bad as it will other places, but we're definitely going to see it. And what we're going to see more is prices go through the roof. Again, remember, the rest of the world thinks that every American has a money tree in the backyard, and it's like, oh, we'll just raise prices. We'll make stuff in America more expensive so we can offset it by selling it cheaper in other places. That's what will happen to us. Cross Canada News, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Andrea Feller, now they're warning of bird flu hitting humans as the next pandemic. Yeah, if that does happen, it's pretty rare that it hits people, but it does. Okay, the problem is the mortality rate of bird flu in humans is about 60%. Now, the interesting part is the age group that is most susceptible to this is age 10 to 19. Figure that one out. Under 40 is bad. Those old farts, we're okay. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe we don't go play with the chickens. I don't know what. But yeah, this seems to be something that hits the younger group. Deb78, I'm in North Carolina and they're culling backyard chickens too. Not kidding, mine. Yeah. Well, this is the thing that, it's like one chicken in the flock has it and they get rid of them all. I was watching a story on some guy who's got 400,000 chickens in his flock. Think about that. If one bird gets it, they cull his entire flock. How much does he have invested in 400,000 chickens? 400,000 anything. J-Mac, do the bird flu tests come from China? God. Brenda H, I'm still convinced they're going to keep us cooped up so we don't vote in person. It'll be something. Yeah, I agree with you. Fauci is already talking. He's starting to lay the groundwork. I saw something this morning where he's saying, oh, we need more money for the National Institute of Health. Wrong. You start writing the checks out of your own pocket, jackass. With the millions upon millions of dollars that you've already fleeced the world for. No, you can write the check. But yeah, he was starting to say, yeah, I'm not ruling out the fact that we go into lockdowns in the fall again. Yeah, gee, can you see that? They're going to tell Joe, hey, Joe, I think we need lockdown. Mail-in voting? Cool, let's go. Flint McRock, Dr. Fauci says need face masks on those birds. Yeah, that would be about it. All right, let's see, where else are we? Thomas O'Dell going to have to get some rabbits till they develop some disease. There was something earlier this year too about a rabbit disease. I remember that too. Am I buffering? Oops. Better. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Somebody said better, then somebody said buffering. Okay. Yeah, my microphone fell off. Okay. And North Shore, I'm guessing that's the reason why you called me. It's like, who the hell's calling? Oh, crap. Thank you for doing that to tell me. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Laura Seltzer says got leg quarters to can Friday. Good deal. Big Bear Prepper. Hey, Pinball, I got 5 bulbed fruit trees, 10 to 12 feet high for $25 each. Wow, that's a great price. Should I fertilize them when planting? If so, what to use? That big, I would probably throw a couple of cans of sardines in the hole with it. Okay. Then other than that, just put, fill it up with the soil that came in the pot, maybe some extra garden soil or whatever around it. Let them root with those sardines, and then probably by fall, I would put some fruit spike fertilizer in the ground around it. But if you got 10 to 12 feet tall trees for $25, that's awesome. Tony Hale, how do you make bone meal? I did a video on it right after Thanksgiving. If you go back to look at it, but I walk you through all the steps to take your turkey bones, your chicken bones, your beef bones, whatever you need to be. But there's a video right after Thanksgiving where I took my turkey carcass and turned it into bone meal. Lord Seltzer says canning beef stew tomorrow. Good deal. Canning anything right now is a good deal. More food you can put away, the better off you're going to be. I mean, especially if it's something based on meat, because meat is going to get prohibitively expensive. Julie F. Pinball, did you see they're also using a PCR testing to determine bird flu? Oh, God. Yeah, whatever. Okay, because they proved how well that worked. Sam Williamson, can I use a commercial compost starter to condition my straw bales for planting? I don't know why you would. I mean, why spend the money on it? All you need is something that's high in nitrogen. You can do it with coffee grounds. You can do it with urine. You can do it with cheap lawn fertilizer. Pick anything. Take your 10-10-10, your triple 13, whatever would be, anything like that. You don't need anything expensive here. You just need something that's high in nitrogen to put on there. It'll take you 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks to condition the straw bales. But all you need is something high in nitrogen. If you want to use commercial compost starter, go ahead, but I don't see why to spend the money. Andrea Feller, hoping to can pickled eggs with beets tomorrow. That sounds good. And of course, we shot to the bottom. So let's see where we are. Okay. This is all you guys tell me you couldn't hear me, and now we're back. And okay. Mike Duncan Senior, build a bunker, shelter, or not? That's an impossible question to ask. I mean, you can go look at one of these, was it Atlas shelters or whatever? Hey, if you got $250,000 kicking around doing nothing, go ahead. But you're better off fortifying, your house, however you would be, or something like that. All in all, this is my problem with bunkers. Okay. It's not like you're going to be hidden. There still has to be a pipe coming out of there to let air in. Okay. You still somehow have to get rid of your human waste, and you still have to get water into that shelter. So it's not like you can go bury in there somewhere and be great. Okay. That's fine. Now, if I'm a bad guy and I see you Okay, you've just given up where you are. If I see this pipe coming out that you let air in or whatever it is, I plug the pipe and you're done. Okay. Unless you've got a massive tunnel system built for you to escape, chances are there's only one way in and one way out. So I just sit there and wait for you to come out. I get the point of it, but it's not something that's really feasible for Joe Average. Margaret Coates, do I cover my comp A? I don't know what you mean by comp A. Bogey Conservative, have I seen the riots in Peru and Sri Lanka? I've talked about the ones in Sri Lanka, and I've seen the news on the ones starting in Peru now. Yes. Okay, I apologize to those of you guys couldn't hear me. I didn't notice my microphone fell. Do I cover my compost? Okay, gotcha. No. And again, you don't want to, because you need to let the oxygen get to it. You need that air circulation to it. Some people say, okay, gee, I want to do it to keep the birds out. Well, all right, you should be mixing in whatever food scraps you put in so no birds are going in there or anything like that. You're not, if you live in an area that's got rats, you're not going to keep the rats out of it. Okay, that's not going to happen. And you don't want anything on the bottom either, because you want the worms to be able to get into it. So, Treasures in Kentucky. I read an article. It said to plant comfrey around your fruit trees. I can see how that would work. I mean, comfrey's got a huge, long taproot that brings up minerals from way deep that plants don't normally get, and will make it useful to the plant up on the top. So that is good as well. I don't see why it wouldn't be a good thing around fruit trees. I don't see why it'd be a bad thing either. Okay, or I do see why it'd be a good thing. I don't see why it would be a bad thing. The only thing, guys, if you get comfrey, make sure you get Bocking 4 or Bocking 14, not the wild comfrey. That stuff goes to seed. It'll spread. You will never get rid of it. It'll take over everything. Julie Whip, what to use to make raised garden beds? Something easy, since I've been doing it myself. I mean, literally anything. I mean, you could use dimensional lumber, you can use rocks, you can use bricks, cinder blocks, landscape blocks, logs, whatever would be. I mean, anything. I mean, you could take, little logs and stack them vertically next to each other, make them all sorts of different heights and, make it look pretty that way or whatever. You could use old sheet metal and put it around. I mean, literally anything that you can get a little bit of height and a little bit of rigidity to, you're good on. I mean, some things are better than others, and location's going to be different too. I mean, things you don't necessarily want to use. You don't want to use railroad ties, because the creosote's going to soak into your soil, and you don't want to be eating stuff with creosote in it. I've heard people say don't use treated lumber, but they treat lumber with different chemicals than they used to. It's not the arsenic that they used to use. So it's more of a copper-based deal. That's up to you. But yeah, I mean, anything. I mean, most inexpensively, that's going to last forever, cinder blocks. That's what I would say. My catch, I did mine originally in dimensional lumber. It lasted 2 years and the wood started rotting. Okay, so that was it. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be doing this again. So we did it in bricks. And that was it. And the bricks ain't going anywhere. Landscape bricks, those aren't going anywhere. So I know I never have to rebuild those again. Cowboy Bob, the CDC definitions of avian flu don't match with what Ice Age Farmer is posting. I can't speak for what Christian put up. I don't know. Lori Smith, when canning leg quarters, do you cut the meat off the bone? We've done it both ways. We've canned the whole quarter just as canned chicken, and then I've also boiled it first, cut the meat off the bone, and then turned it into chicken stew. So I've done it both ways. Moldy Soldier, Pinball, advice on planting onions from Dixondale in between rows of garlic. Okay, I didn't do that because my garlic's on one side of the garden, my onions are on the other side of the gardens. Uh, I I don't see why you would have any problem with it. I mean, they fertilize the same way. You still want to keep about a 6-inch spacing between them, depending on the size. If you're going for giant onions, you need more space. But your standard size onions, 6-inch spacing. The only thing I'm going to ask though is, I'm hoping you planted your garlic in the fall, and now you're going to go in and kind of overcrop so you can plant your onions in. So by the time they start growing, it's the time you start pulling your garlic out. The only thing I'm going to say there is be very careful when you do it, because you're going to start disturbing the onions if you're going to be pulling garlic. Just saying. I've never been a big fan of intermixing root crops together. A root crop and a fruit crop, fine, because you're not messing with oil as bad. 2 root crops, you can destroy all your onions pulling your garlic too. Vester Dillon, I bought 21-pound canned hams from Dollar General, $2.95 each. I've probably got 60 of them, yeah. And I think most of them I got at Dollar General too. If you open them up and eat them, they're actually pretty good. Make a good ham sandwich. Camp 4LE, I don't come here for the production value. Good, because that ain't it. That's it. It's like, oh, gee, you got the curtain in the dining room behind me. Okay. Whoops. Shot to the bottom again. Hang on. Okay, well, I guess I'm going all the way here. Okay. Walmart, Beautiful Day says Walmart is stocking canning jars to the ceiling. Somebody else sent me something today that their Walmart was stacking water everywhere. I wonder what they know that we don't. Okay. Finley the dog, I'm going to try horseradish. Any tips? I know you're going to hate to hear this one. Have a mask. You are not, when you start grinding that stuff, you are not going to want to be breathing those fumes. I would definitely suggest a mask and goggles. That would be my tip. Let's see. What is this? Rebecca H. says they're stopping shipping of chicks in Pennsylvania. That doesn't surprise me. Sherry, when are you planting sweet corn? I'm 30 minutes from you and I want to plant it Monday. You're way too early for sweet corn. Here, I'll tell you when. If you're that close to me, where'd you say you were? 30 minutes from me. Okay, so I don't know which direction. Sweet corn in our area is supposed to go in May 15th. So yeah, you got over a month before corn goes in the ground. All right, so looking on through. Sunshine Me, should I add a top layer for moisture preservation when growing in containers and bags in hot Texas? If so, what do you recommend? If you're talking about adding a mulch, absolutely. Okay. So you want to add something that is going to retain moisture. So wood chips are good, grass clippings works, straw. Some people say hay. I'd avoid hay just because you're going to get hay seeds in it. But yeah, wood chips, grass clippings, straw, those would be the 3 I'd say to use. Sunshine 67, can I recommend a grain mill? I said this last week. The best place you're going to find a good grain mill is at an antique store or, one of these Pickers Paradises or something like that. You want an old school one. The stuff that's made out of plastic and stuff like that, most of it's crap. Ann Palmer, have I ever grown an avocado tree? No, I've never even tried. North Shore, holy crap, you're over 70K. Thank you. Jeffrey Lassard, have I considered freeze drying vegetables? Freeze drying vegetables is a great idea if you've got $4,000 for a harvest right freeze dryer, which I do not. So that's not happening in my future. Pooh and Stitch, can I use cedar mulch in a raised bed? Sorry for asking, the chat went so fast. No problem. Yes, you can. And I've got a truckload of cedar mulch out in my truck right now because it's going in some of our gardens. Pros and cons to cedar mulch. Great at repelling insects, great at holding water. Will not decompose and build your soil. So if you're trying to use back to Eden or something like that, you do not want to use cedar. All right. You will be, instead of waiting 7 to 10 years, you'll be waiting 20 to 25. Okay. It'll eventually decompose, sure. But the reason why people buy cedar, it doesn't rot. That's the thing. Okay. 5-acre gardener, what fertilizer do you mix into compost to give it a giddy up? Nitrogen. Okay. Anything you want to get your nitrogen levels up. That's where most people fall short in, I look at my compost piles right now. They are loaded with leaves and cardboard and paper and everything. And there's food scraps in there. Okay. Because wintertime, you don't get a whole lot of greens. Now we're coming into, spring, summer. Now you're going to get a ton of greens and, lawn clippings, but you're not going to have a ton of browns. Cardboard is there. So right now, if you're asking me what to do it, I'm betting you're short on nitrogen. So throw some urine in there. That's going to be a great one. I know you guys hear me say this all the time and everybody laughs at me, but it works. Okay. If you want to spend some money, coffee grounds, great one. You want to spend some money, go get some cheap lawn fertilizer. High nitrogen, the NPK be 32, 36, something like that. That'll do it. Darlene Carter, if I plant my new blooming peach right now, will it still make peaches in a few months? Well, if you've got it in a bucket right now and you don't plant it right now, chances are it's going to get root bound and you're going to kill it. So you're going to have to do something. You're going to either have to put it in a bigger bucket or you're going to have to plant it. So either way, you're going to have to do something with it. Whether or not it makes peaches, there's way too many variables in that one. If it gets cold, if it, freezes the blooms off, whatever would be, how you take care of it, I don't know. But you need to plant that tree. Grumpy old man, have I ever grown food in a grow bag? Are they good? I've used grow bags before many times. I don't know what food you're talking about, and yeah, it works fine. Julie Whip, thanks. Like the little logs idea. I think I can handle that. WHIP stands for work in progress. Okay, Julie, work in progress. Okay, got it. Wyoming Yeti, use plastic bins on plastic garden chairs. There you go. That'd be a good way to do things. Denise B says, I'm using a tote with a lid. It's working. Okay. Maybe as a seed starter or something, but remember, if you've got a lid on your totes, you're not going to get any photosynthesis here. The plants need sunlight. So, Moldy Soldier, what about pallet wood for a raised garden? Is that wood treated? Pallet wood's treated a couple of different ways. You want to look for the one that's stamped HT, That is heat treated. That's not chemically treated. That stuff is fine to use around food. Don't use, if it doesn't have an HT on it, you do not want to use it. Laura Flarson, do I dilute my urine before using it in the garden? Yes, 10 to 1. Okay. I did a video one time on showing you guys how I hooked up a yard sprayer to a sprinkler, everything like that. That works perfect. But if you want to just use it in a sprinkling can or whatever it is, if you got a 2-gallon can, use 1/10 of whatever 2 gallons is. Would that be probably somewhere around a pint? And then fill it with water. So yeah, 10 to 1 for putting urine in. Now, if you're going to go pee in the compost pile, straight pee in your compost pile is fine. Michael Maxwell, hope you're having a good day. My wife thinks you're cute in the hat. Great. Thanks. Sorry, I'm taken. And so are you, by the way. Let's see. Moldy Soldier says, yeah, garlic was last fall. Okay, good. So yeah, so again, back to your question, the only thing I'd worry about is what your spacing is, that you're not disrupting the onions when you're pulling out the garlic. If you aren't, then I guess I couldn't see any reason why you couldn't do it. It's just not something I've ever done. Bush Doctor Survival, any advice for mean roosters? My wife is pregnant and afraid our rooster will make her fall in the run. I guess my advice would probably be keep your wife out of the rooster run. That would be a better idea. Control what you can. I'm not the rooster whisperer. Rooster, I think you're cute in the hat too. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Should we go swimming together? Maybe we can get Leah Thomas and we can all have, never mind. That's enough of that. LF, have I ever tried growing mushrooms or know how to? No, I have not. And I'm afraid of foraging. I love mushrooms, don't get me wrong. I'd probably try growing them. I'm afraid of foraging for them. I'd pick the poisonous ones, guaranteed it, but I've never tried growing them. Okay, whoops, we shot to the bottom here. Hang on. Oops, let's see where we are, if I can find where I was. Oh, okay, I must have got way behind. There we go. All right. Kathy Acevedo, what would be the best jars for dry canning? I'm thinking probably, again, it depends on your family size. For me and Mrs. P, quart jars. Depending on what you're going to can, though. If you're trying to can chili flakes, you don't need a quart of chili flakes. If you're going to can rice, yeah, you'll probably go through rice pretty quick. But depending on what you're doing, spices, I'm not going to go through a quart of any spice in the rest of my life. But yeah, if you're talking about, I don't know, cereals, rice, beans, whatever, I'd say quarts. Flintstone Girl, thanks for the heads up for the 85-cent ham at Aldi. I got 2 today, going to get 2 more tomorrow. There you go. Denise B says also, yes, she saw water stocked like crazy at Walmart today. North Shore says, give horseradish a lot of space to grow. Yeah, horseradish will spread like crazy. Chris Stapleton, will a Berkey get rid of the chemical smell that they put in water that we get from Lake Michigan? That I can't answer you. I don't know. As Drupal 121, Christian on Ice Age Farmer quotes a former CDC director saying bird flu is the next pandemic. Again, I can't speak for what somebody else says. I mean, that's what he says is from him. Okay. David Green 2, thank you for the Wellbot discount code. Looking at them now. You're more than welcome. Chris, seriously, I've heard of human poop being used as fertilizer. Could this be true? Yes, there. What is it? Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They compost humanure, as it's called. All right. It takes about 4 years to compost human poop. Uh, the problem is, and I guess you can get around it somehow, but you're taking a big risk of introducing pathogens into your garden. Now, there's no pathogens in your urine, but there is in your feces. It, it let's put it this way. It ain't the reward is not as big as the risk, and the reward certainly ain't as big as what it's going to take to gather that. Okay, I'm not sticking my hand in the toilet going, look, honey, more fertilizer. Sorry, not happening in this household. Redbeard's Racing says grain makers are solid. Grain maker mills are solid aluminum. That's why I was saying. Okay, and that aluminum will break if you push too hard on it. That's what I was saying. The old ones are solid steel. Are cast iron. That's more what I'm saying to go for. Rob H. Regarding blueberry bushes, if I buy 2 bushes, do they need to be different species? Yes. 2 of the same species will not cross-pollinate. They need to be 2 different ones. I don't have the packet here. No, I've just got raspberries. I was going to tell you what the 2 I've got because the blueberry bushes are sitting right next to me here. Walter, didn't get to work my soil in the fall. Any quick option to loosen Tennessee clay? Get yourself some gypsum, a lot of it, okay, and till it in. You can get it in a liquid form that'll work quicker than the granule form, but it's more expensive too. But get yourself some gypsum and till that into the soil. That will help break it up quickly. And other than that, if you're going to do it, get the gypsum in there and get some compost in there. Get something that is going to the gypsum will keep the clay molecules from binding, but you want something else in there as well. So if you can get some gypsum and some compost in there, that would be the best thing you could do. Mountaintop Prep says Bread Becker's Junior Deluxe Hand Crank Grain Mill. Okay, there's a recommendation for you. Cynthia Dedge, my potatoes are 7 inches tall. What do I fertilize them with? Just get some 10-10-10. Your very basic regular tomato and vegetable fertilizer. 10-10-10 on there is fine, provided you put down some bone meal or something like that, some potassium in the ground when you planted them. You should be golden. If you didn't, then make sure you get some extra potassium, get some bone meal on that ground too. Billy Pollard, any experience with table, countertop, mountable hand crank meat cubers? Not cubers, but grinders. Yeah, we've got meat grinders, trust me. And yeah, I mean, the ones that you can bolt, I mean, you can get the electric ones, you can get the ones that you bolt on to the underside of the countertop and do it, everything like that. I've never heard of a meat cuber, but a meat grinder. But again, same thing. If you can find the old stainless or the old cast iron ones, that's the way you want to go, especially with a grinder, because the aluminum ones, you're going to use it, and you go snap. You're going to snap the handle. That's the problem with these aluminum ones. Seltzer, pasta sections in stores really bare. I've seen that too. Hard to find stuff. I don't know if that has anything to do with the eggs. But again, let's think of what pasta is made of: eggs and flour. What do we have shortages of? Both eggs and flour. Sherry bought a brown turkey fig tree at Knoxville Seed and Greenhouse. Have you planted any fig trees? Yes, I've got 2 of them. I showed them in a video that I did yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, when I was talking about Hi Sweetie was the name of the video. Cushnet Prepter, I have cedar boards from my raised beds. That's awesome. Again, because they don't rot. Those will last you for years. Annie, do you ever grow a cover crop? If so, how do you handle it in the spring? Now, if you grew something like clover or things like that, good cover crop. Mow it down to at the lowest setting of your lawnmower before it goes to seed. Okay, that's crucial. All right, and now you've just put all that uh, green manure, if you will, into your garden. Then you can till all that in, and you're going to be feeding worms, everything like that. That's excellent. Okay, you don't even have to till it in. Just you can leave the roots to do the work, let the worms do it, but just mow over it at the lowest setting. It'll die off, and you can plant right in the garden. Dollar Tree has seeds, 4 packs for $1. There you go. That's Daisy and Peanut number 1. Let's see. Caffeine preps. There you go. Can I fight summer squash blossom rot with eggshells? Yeah, because it's the calcium. It's the blossom end rot that you're trying to get rid of. So, for tomatoes, peppers, anything like that, that blossom end rot is a lack of calcium. Most soils shouldn't have that problem, but better safe than sorry. If you've got extra calcium, either use calcium nitrate or use eggshells. Either way. Put a little bit in your planting holes. That'll let the plants take it up, and you'll be fine that way. If they don't need it, no harm, no foul. Danny Melton, hi. Just came over from deep south. Someone mentioned something about a crash of some kind over Alaska. Have you saw anything about it? They said it was breaking news. We've been on for 45 minutes, so I haven't seen anything. Honey, have you seen anything in the news about a crash over? No, Mrs. P said she hasn't seen anything. We'll check afterwards, obviously. Country Humans Grease, how do you grow Jerusalem artichoke? Ask North Shore Preparedness. He grows them. I don't. So I grow plenty of potatoes, so I don't need the Jerusalem artichoke. Rick Grimes, I asked a week or so ago if you had any experience with the SAR 9 pistol. Anyway, I got one. It's Turkish made, somewhat like a Glock. Seems well made. I put 150 rounds through it with no issues, 325. No, I have no experience whatsoever with it. So sorry if I didn't see the question last week, but I've never used the pistol either, so I'm no help with that one. Deacon Prepper, what was the thing that fell from the sky in Alaska? Again, no idea. Pennsylvania Prepper Dad, do I need to freeze lentils and barley before storing away? Probably not, but it's not going to hurt to do it for a couple of days. I mean, flour is, you do it because you could have little eggs or whatever in there, because lentils and stuff like that are bigger. They're not powdery. You're going to see something that doesn't look right. Even then, I still freeze anything that I'm going to put in buckets first, just to make sure. Denise B says the tote with the lid is for compost. I'm sorry. When I get behind a little bit, you guys are writing something, and when I see it, it's something I talked about 10 minutes earlier. So, okay. Tote with the lid is for compost. If it's only a tote, though, how do you get it hot enough? Because you need to be about a square yard before it's going to get hot enough to decompose in there. When I'm thinking totes, I'm thinking ones that, I'll keep blankets or pillows in or something like that in summertime, that we put away. Checks to mix one. Do I dilute the banana peel tea when adding to plants? Yeah, you can a little. You don't need too much. Any of the fertilizers that I showed you I made, you want to dilute those anywhere between 5 or 10 to 1. I said what it was in the video. If you're just making a banana peel tea that you're using for your house plants and stuff like that, maybe you dilute it a little bit, but not a whole lot. Susquehanna Homestead, what are my thoughts on using the product Thrive on plants and fruit trees? I'm not familiar with what it is, so I can't answer. I'm sorry. Oops, here we go. Shoot down to the bottom. Back up here again. Okay. Okay, you guys, let's see. Kathy Boy. Okay, so you have a situation like I did. All my older seeds are germinating great. The newer ones, not so good. You don't feel like you're alone. I mean, like I said, I was getting about 50% germination on my seeds. I mean, I had to plant today. Plant, okay, start from seed. Uh, another tray of jalapenos and another tray of pepperoncini because so far 3 times I've planted and I still haven't got the 40 plants that I need because I'll plant an entire tray, 24 of them, 2 seeds apiece, so 48 seeds. And I've got, what am I? I'm 8 short on one and 12 short on the other. So, I mean, I'm getting 30% germination and these are new seeds. So you're not alone. And I know it's not my soil because everything else is coming up fine. Like you said, my old seeds came up fine. I mean, the black crim tomatoes that I sent out to all you guys, every single one of them sprouted, not a problem. My cucumbers, my pickles that I saved seeds on myself, no problem. Okay. The store-bought stuff, I have a feeling last year was a bad year for seeds and we're getting a bunch of junk. Shivo 061944. Will Berkey filter out chemicals from water from roof or tar shingles here in California? You do not want to be using water off of a asphalt shingled roof. I can tell you that right now. Whether or not the Berkey filters it out, I don't know. Berkey's supposed to be, Berkey's the best out there, but I can't tell you every chemical it's going to get out. I just don't know that. You could ask Berkey, but water off of a shingle roof, I would not use for human consumption. Again, think of what asphalt is. Asphalt's a petroleum product. You're gonna go, lick water, drink water somewhere where there was an oil spill. That's pretty much what you're doing, what you're asking for there. Dep 78. My rooster was crowing at a rabbit at 1 a.m. I guess they're scary. Oof. What, Chris? You didn't like the Look Honey More fertilizer? God. Okay. Sorry. There you go. Anita Culp just bought more pork shoulder for 78 cents a pound. Been on ad all week. There you go. Yeah, can the crap out of that. Southern Hillberry, blueberries, 1 rabbit eye and 1 high bush variety. There you go. There's a couple to cross. Redbeard's Racing. I take it back. The hopper on the grain mill is steel. The case is aluminum. My biggest issue is the handle. Okay, the handle and the gearing. Because if your auger or anything like that is aluminum, it's going to break. I'm just telling you. Healthy disrespect for authority. How long after 3 days of drenching rain do we fertilize? Once you don't have standing water, I think you're fine. If the ground is still moist, that's good. That's just going to help the fertilizer dissolve and get down into the soil and at the root level there. You just don't want it. If you got standing water, you don't want that because then, if anything's going to float away, you don't want to be watering the sewer system, but if the rain is done, it's not going to rain for a few days, and the ground's all wet, that's a perfect time to do it. Let that fertilizer all dissolve, get down in the ground, you don't have to worry about it. Sunshine Me, do I have any experience with wild lettuce or opium lettuce? No, I do not. Never even heard of opium lettuce. Let's see. North Shore, do not grow Jerusalem artichokes if you had limited gardening space. It's funny, I was talking to Mountaintop Preps before the show here a couple hours ago. We were talking about garden space and, what he's got, what I've got, trying to figure things out. And you look at it, and the big key to it is you've got to figure out what you like to eat and what is going to grow in your area. If you love to eat mangoes and you live in Maine, it ain't going to happen. Okay. You're not going to grow, tropical fruits up there. So you got to figure out what grows in your area that you like to eat and what you're going to be successful at growing. Okay. I mean, pretty much anybody can grow tomatoes, peppers, and beans. Okay. Though, but now you start getting into some of the other stuff. I mean, onions are a little more difficult. I can't say about Jerusalem artichokes and stuff like that, but you want to think about how much garden space do you have and how much space is that one plant going to take? I mean, I've got a row of asparagus. If I went back and did it again, would I put that row of asparagus in? Probably not. As much as I love asparagus, that is 18 row feet of garden space that's going to give me enough asparagus for a couple of meals a year. Is that a good use of my space? Probably not. Okay, Chris says plane crash in Alaska, March 7th. March 7th. Today's April 9th. 5 injured. Okay, I don't know what the March 7 is. Redbeard's Racing, how long does chicken poop take to compost and be safe to use? Usually a couple of months. 2 to 3 months is usually good enough for chicken manure. Because especially if you're using wood shavings, as their bedding or whatever it is, because you're mixing all that up right away, throw that in the compost pile, let it go a couple, 3 months, and you're good. Holy crap, it's 9:57. Okay. Krista Ballard, any idea for other uses for a wheatgrass juicer? Trying to decide. No clue. Not a wheatgrass person. Sorry. Don't even know what a wheatgrass juicer is. Kathy Acevedo, I am new to dry canning. Can you use glass jars with screw-on lids or the Mason Bell jars? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you're going to do with something like that, I mean, you've got the screw-on ones, or you can put them, the whole lid, they're black, the ones I have, or you can use it with the lids and bands, either way, but you're just throwing an oxygen absorber in for your dry goods and then closing it up, either way. Sicilian Girl Gennady, my eggplants are sprouting. I am so excited. There you go. Have fun with those. Summer Fungi, my tote compost gets to 140 degrees. Awesome. Let's see. We just shot to the bottom, so I got to see where we are. Kevin Gaston, I planted 3 Chiquita banana trees yesterday. Any tips? No, I've never done banana trees in my life. The only place I could have possibly even done it, I think, was Vegas. Other than that, this is about it. I wasn't growing anything when I was down in Dallas-Fort Worth area. That was 30 years ago. But no, I've never grown a banana tree, so I'm not going to be one to help there. Ward Alton brings up another one. Don't forget there's fiberglass and shingles. Yeah, you think fiberglass itches on your skin? Let's put it down in your belly. Gina M, anyone else notice how windy it's been? Yeah, there's a lot of truth to this. This is why they moved, all the weather manipulation moved the weather pattern down south, because we needed that wind to power the refineries, and so they needed more wind. So that's why we're starting to get more of these bad weather systems through Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, up to me. Because, we're getting a lot more windy because they've dropped Man has dropped the jet stream. Thanks. TJ Net, Pinball, what's your favorite beer? Of all time, there's a Scottish ale called Bellhaven. It is probably the best beer I've ever had, and it's practically impossible to find anymore. You know, but yeah, if you ever find that one, get that. That's by far the best beer I've ever had. Yes, this one is a Yingling. Oh, it is 10 o'clock. All right. There you go. Last one. If you had August Blue says, if you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, you can buy a grain grinder attachment and power it with a Jackery. There you go. So there's a plan there. So KitchenAid is a quality product. I will give you that. So, all right, guys. This Saturday night till 10 o'clock. Thank you all for spending a little bit. I'm assuming North Shore is probably going on, though he was on at 3 o'clock in the morning today. So y'all have a good one. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.